This is a CBS2 News update. I'm Mary Calvi, and breaking news about an alleged attempted rape in a Bronx park. The NYPD says they have arrested a 14-year-old accused of attacking a jogger in Bronx River Park Monday morning. The woman says the teen grabbed her from behind and forced her to the ground, but she fought back. Police say she took a picture of him when she saw him again as he tried to leave the park. The teen's name is not being released, but he is charged with attempted rape and assault. The Belt Parkway is now reopened after a deadly wrong-way crash in Queens overnight. Police say a Volkswagen driving eastbound in the westbound lanes collided with a Honda Accord at about 2 a.m. near Bay 8th Street. A passenger in the back seat of the Honda was declared dead at the scene. The Honda's driver and another passenger are both stable at the hospital. Police said the driver of the wrong-way car is expected to be charged with driving under the influence. The city's health department is investigating a cluster of Legionnaires cases in Upper Manhattan. 8 people in Washington Heights and Hamilton Heights have been diagnosed in the past week. Right now, health officials are working to isolate the source of the cluster, which they believe is a cooling tower somewhere in the area. Residents who live nearby say they're paying close attention.
It's very concerning.
As a matter of fact, that I was thinking of going to my primary doctor.
It may be that there are additional cases identified. We are actively looking for the source. This has the geography of a cooling tower related exposure, and we rely on the people of this neighborhood to look after themselves, look after their neighborhoods, and seek care early.
The symptoms are similar to the flu. The health department is holding a community meeting tonight at St. Luke's Church at 7 p.m. The suspect arrested for stabbing a woman to death at a security business in the Bronx is also accused of a separate headline, making murder. Idris Abdul Mahimin is charged in yesterday's murder of 45-year-old Wanda Rios in the Wakefield section of the Bronx. Last month, he was named a suspect in the stabbing death of an elderly man in Mott Haven who had just won a $50,000 lottery prize. Also happening now, a plaque dedication for NYPD Detective Stephen McDonald, who died last year. The ceremony began just moments ago at 106th Street between 5th Avenue and East Drive in Central Park. In 1986, McDonald was paralyzed after being shot by a 15-year-old boy in Central Park. McDonald spent the rest of his life spreading a message of forgiveness. Happening today, some state lawmakers are calling for the New York State Thruway Authority to cancel its cashless tolling contract. A new state audit blames cashless tolling for at least $1.6 million in unpaid tolls since January 2017. The report finds most of the money was lost when 8 of the MTA's bridges and tunnels went cashless. Today at 2 o'clock, lawmakers will hold a news conference at Nyack Memorial Park to demand the authority cancel its $72 million 3-year contract extension with the company. Staten Island residents are on alert after vandals damaged nearly 50 cars throughout the borough. CBS2's Valerie Castro tells us what's slowing down police efforts to catch the vandals.
A crime spree is targeting cars on Staten Island, and it seems that X marks the spot in almost every case.
I don't know what the motive would be for something like that.
Darlene Silverstein is one of dozens of victims whose cars have been damaged since May in the Princess Bay, Pleasant Plains, Huguenot, Bloomingdale, and Woodrow neighborhoods.
It looks like somebody actually did like a keyed cross and, just went like this, deep though, because as you could see, it's pretty, it's really carved in there. So they had to really make an effort to dig in.
When I asked the cops the other night, I said, how many of these do you have? He said, I think it's about 70 that we know about.
Sal Patanio's car was also targeted, a similar mark in a similar place near the back bumper.
I don't know if it's a gang type thing, but they do look similar.
Police say they haven't been able to catch a break in the case because the suspect or suspects haven't been caught on surveillance.
It seems kind of odd that nobody has been able to look at the camera and identify somebody or somebodies that are doing these type things.
Police encourage anyone who has been a victim to report the damage. There is a $2,500 reward for information leading to an arrest. In the Woodrow neighborhood on Staten Island, Valerie Castro, CBS 2 News.
He is in London for meetings with British Prime Minister Theresa May and Queen Elizabeth. This comes after an emergency session at the NATO summit in Brussels, Belgium, where President Trump spoke earlier this morning and declared victory over increasing defense spending.
The United States commitment to NATO is very strong, remains very strong, but primarily because the spirit they have, The amount of money they're willing to spend, the additional money that they will be putting up, has been really, really amazing to see it, to see the level of spirit in that room.
Yesterday, President Trump slammed NATO nations and demanded they pay their fair share toward defense spending. Twitter is cleaning house. A social media site announced yesterday that tens of millions of accounts will be deleted from its follower accounts. It's part of a broader effort to safeguard the platform. The move will apply to discounts that had been locked in the past because of suspicious activity. The company says most people will, on average, lose 4 followers or less. Prominent Twitter accounts, however, will experience a more significant drop. And now let's get to your forecast. Here's John Elliott.
Gonna have to check my account. I could lose 2 or 3. All right, so here's the deal. Finally, some pretty skies out there. Have you noticed how dry the air has become? Partly to mostly sunny and 74 in the city right now. Winds are calm. So the air temperatures, around 74. That's a pretty good average through parts of the Hudson Valley. It's warmer out on the island. Edison's at 80 already, 77 in Belmar. So temperatures are down 6 degrees. So TJM, let's see, is that tall? Just no, that didn't work out at all. We like initials, so that one didn't work. My producer's a giant. He's like 7 feet tall, so we call him Tall Justin. He was saying the dew point dropped 14 degrees in 1 hour in the city. So that means it is drying out. So it feels a lot better out there. It's going to be a comfortable afternoon. 84 and then 85 on your Friday. Saturday and Sunday, both days a little bit more humid, so we have to leave in the chance of some pop-up storms in the afternoon. But I tell you what, Mary, after a rock and roll start, shaping up to be a nice day. We're short. We understand that.
It looks beautiful out there. All right, John, thanks so much. Nearly 6 years ago, Superstorm Sandy devastated coastal communities in our area. Since then, building a more resilient coastline is a priority. But now there's a barrier battle over some of the options. CBS 2's Vanessa Murdoch has more.
Superstorm Sandy's surge devastated our coastlines, demolished homes, flooded them, cut off power. To keep this from happening again, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is considering 5 options, including multiple surge barriers, flood walls, levees, and seawalls. There is one option that's getting a lot of attention. A 5-mile storm surge barrier that would span from Sandy Hook to the Rockaways. It could look similar to Delta Works in the Netherlands.
5 miles across all of here. It's just unimaginable.
Ida Sanoff is the executive director of the Natural Resources Protective Association.
When you put a structure in the water down here, it frequently gives you unexpected impacts.
She wants to make sure her voice is heard.
We feel like this is going to be a sneak attack. No one down on the Brooklyn shoreline knew that these meetings were going to be held.
She's talking about meetings by the Army Corps this week to inform the public of options. Baykeeper Greg Rameau tells us he got wind of the meetings, understands the options.
We think there's only one that is moving in the right direction.
He says the perimeter-only solution offers protection from surge in a fiscally responsible and ecologically sound way. It avoids large-scale engineering.
They often cause more problems than they solve, and particularly in terms of cutting off tidal flow over time. And tidal flow is what provides the oxygen to the estuary. It's what brings in nutrients. It's what cleans out contaminants.
The Army Corps insists something has to be done to protect our interests along the shore. The options? Well, they're generating a lot of buzz around the harbor. Vanessa Murdoch, CBS 2 News.
The Army Corps of Engineers hopes to identify a tentative plan by the end of the year, but a final plan wouldn't be sent to Congress until 2022. After that, it could still be years before work on the ground begins. Well, dragging heavy luggage to the airport is usually not the highlight of any trip. Enter the airport robot. It can carry up to 85 pounds of luggage and uses a variety of nonverbal sounds to interact with travelers. KLM Royal Dutch Airlines is now testing out the robot. It's named Care and can access real-time data like gate changes. The airline plans to put it to use at both JFK and San Francisco International Airport sometime this year. And that's your CBS 2 News Update. I'm Mary Calvi. Have a good day.